Alright guys, TacticalRab back again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Scrappy has kicked off over major CDL Mapset drama going down over the last few days. There will be a new map in Rio in the game by the time Stage 2 begins, and it will be apparently in for Hardpoint and for Search and Destroy. But Scrappy is not at all happy as to which map it's going to replace for the Search and Destroy game modes, says the pros are stupid for making the decision they've made, but which teams does this help and which teams does this hurt, especially because one team tends to auto-veto always the map that has apparently been removed. Very much enjoyed your thoughts in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Firstly, congratulations to a few of our fantasy winners on the Breaking Point side. I just thought I mentioned this one because it was kind of funny. We did a contest for, I think the grand prize for this was $69. So yeah, fantastic stuff. But the competition was build the worst team for Major 1. And well, if you build the worst team, you get the most points. Congratulations. So the absolute worst team here was Captaining Assault, then Purge, Real, and GodRx. So yeah, pretty ugly. I think the second place team here as well was just the entire Ravens roster, because yeah, that didn't end too well for some of those guys. Wanted to mention FaZe back also though, because not only do they have their main roster, they also have FaZe Black Academy, which is full of under 18 players. Now this is just so good from Zuma and these other guys making this happen, man, because the CDL is in a questionable spot. The Pro League may survive, it may not, we just don't really know at the moment into the next couple of seasons. The Challengers side is on its last legs, and it's always a question that I have in terms of where are the next up talents going to come from. And just as Scump and, you know, these legends, Karma, Kremp, you know, these guys retired, Formal of course stepped away, that entire Dynasty roster, including many other players as well, it turned out that there was kind of a next generation of players with personalities, you know, Scrappy, Pred, these type of guys coming into the scene. But the next step from then on is like, well, is Challengers no longer going to exist? Are all the good COD talents of the next 5-10 years just playing Warzone, or are they playing something else because the Challengers ecosystem is not well supported? But thankfully, due to guys like Zuma, it's definitely still being supported, right? So I think there's an under 18 league that these guys play in, but they signed, basically, well, I don't know if it's signed exactly, but they brought in these guys, COD's rising talents, to the FaZe Clan Black Academy, and I just thought this is absolutely fantastic stuff. As Zuma says, none of you guys are allowed to get to play ranked with Parrot, and it's a pleasure. Let's get it, right? So yeah, funny content, and they did actually scrim last night up against these guys. So Pred, Shotzzy, Zuma, and Asim put together a team, and they scrimmed these fellas, and they were like fried. Now, obviously, Pred, Shotzzy, and like the actual pros, as it were, aren't going to be going balls to the wall like the guys are on the other side. But you've got to say, like, this guy in Courage here dropped 42. Derek the GOAT as well was absolutely frying. This is a nice final kill cam as well here. So, yeah, Derek the GOAT dropped 35. The other guy had 2 minutes in the hard point. So, you know, this is a nasty 3-piece as well. Zuma got absolutely tucked into bed on this one. And this was another screenshot here as well when, you know, here we are on Karachi hard point. Derek the GOAT drops 40 and 22 to, you know, slam these guys out of the server. So, very entertaining stuff and very promising, I would say, as well, for the future of competitive play and just, you know, awesome stuff that Zuma's doing for the community, as has been the case for a very long time at this point. But we've also got to talk about the map set, right? Because Karachi is changing quite considerably. A couple of the hard points have now changed location. It's worse as far as I'm concerned, but other maps maybe are better. However, Terminal hardpoint is going to be gone. Rio hardpoint is coming in. The question was, is that going to be the same for other game modes? Is Rio Control going to be played? Is Rio Search and Destroy going to be played? Pretty sure Octane said, as far as he knows, Rio Control is probably not going to be a thing, but Rio Search and Destroy probably is going to be a thing. Now, GhostofAbe also says that given the fact that Vista and Departures and Stash House are coming into the game in a couple of days' time, apparently the pros are also going to try them, because this is kind of what, I guess, ideally, let's say Vista is really competitively viable. Treyarch would really love to put it in the ranked mode, but they might not do that until the pros are playing it. Now, let's be honest, there's only a few days here, and I think Monday is generally the cutoff day, so Monday of next week is generally the cutoff for when, you know, you have to set things up, either roster lock or either changes to the map set. So it is going to be a quick turnaround, but apparently as soon as Season 2 drops, which might already be by now, I think it's meant to be today, and these maps are in the game, the pros are going to try them, because they will have a few days to scrim Vista, maybe Departures, I'm not so sure about that one, but we'll actually see, potentially for Search and Destroy, and if they're viable, they could make another alteration to the map pool. So Rio is for sure in, but they do have time, I think, the pros, if they want to try these other maps as well, and apparently they will be trying to do exactly that. So this is Rio Hardpoint, definitely a viable map. It's also a bit of a bang out as well. Like, I think that 40 kills on this one are definitely possible. Maybe even a 50 bomb is possible. I think it's pretty doubtful. But if we do see this map in competitive, which I believe we will, we're going to see some 40 bombs probably, like the old sub base. So, you know, looking forward to this one in action. However, could it also work for Search and Destroy? This nice little thumbnail here from Seeker I thought I'd mention real quick. Because these 3-lane maps that are designed in a traditional manner usually work for the other game modes as well, and Rio certainly does. The map setting in this game isn't great right now. The Search and Destroys have been okay, but I think generally speaking, pros have wanted a change. However, the change they're looking to make is definitely surprising to me, and this man Scrappy is getting involved in that. I will share this clip for you guys in a second because it's just too funny. I don't know how this was found up, to be honest, back in the day. Also got to mention, look how comically huge those headphones look on his head, you know what I mean? Like, look how massive those ear cups are compared to his head. I just think that's hilarious. He's also already repping here the Toronto purple from back in the day, so that was funny stuff. But of course, Scrappy of the modern day is this man, and here he is absolutely wilding out on the timeline last night. So Rio S&D came in for Skid Row. Hopefully you guys are all excited for a year full of Terminal. So obviously very sarcastic in the second comment. But okay, Rio S&D is viable. The pros have figured that out. They then have to decide what map it replaces. They could just add it, but as Octane said, in terms of the veto process, it makes it more complicated. And maybe if Vista S&D or Departures S&D is viable, and the pros figure that out within the next couple of days, they could add that in and Skid Row and have 7 maps. That'd be possible, but just the way the veto process works, 6 isn't really a number that actually tends to be particularly conducive. So Rio S&D in, Skid Row though, S&D gone. This I would say is definitely surprising given the other maps in the game and the fact that I would say there's other Search and Destroys that play worse than Skid Row. I don't think Skid Row is great for Search and Destroy, but I must say I'm surprised that the pro teams have, because I think 9 of 12 have to agree to decide. Now, I don't exactly know what the rule is, because if all the pros agree that Rio S&D is viable, but then it's like 6-6 in terms of the split between teams wanting Skid Row gone, teams wanting Terminal gone, what do? Do they just come to a standstill and nothing happens? Or do they say, like, all right, any majority is a majority, and we're going to run with that? Because like, everyone would prefer Rio S&D for probably both of those maps, but people have a preference what they want gone, what they want to say. And of course, a large part of that preference is based on what they're good at, realistically speaking. If you're terrible at Skid Row Search and Destroy, you're going to want it gone, even if Terminal sucks. It is worse than Skid Row. I think, personally speaking, I am in the Scrappy camp here, that I do prefer Skid Row Search and Destroy to Terminal. Terminal, you know, it's just an interesting map for Search in general. I know that if it was to go for Search, then it'd be gone for everything, which is maybe not the ideal scenario, but there's not that much you can do really on the map. I mean, you've just got to chill over at their ski side, or you just run into the plane and, you know, inshallah, hope that it works, right? You know, got to check all the ratty corners in there. I don't think it's a great map. I think Skid Row gives more potential, really, and gives more opportunity to the attacking side. Like, it's quite difficult, really, as a defensive player to hold that platform and hold everything. Like, the attackers have more options, it feels, on Skid Row than they do on Terminal. But, you know, either way, I don't massively mind. But Scrappy, of course, is saying that all the bad teams just want to screw up on Eskies, the escalators, of course, on Terminal. The amount of combined brain cells that were voted for Skid Row out is less than 50, he says. So roasting these guys for making this decision. And aBeZy even replies, seemingly agreeing with Scrappy on this. I promise you, Terminal S&D ain't helping any of these guys make champs. So really, he's trying to roast the trash teams at the bottom that, you know, apparently want to keep Terminal in. Maybe this is because some of the teams that are further down the order, they're actually not bad at Terminal, because it's a very defensive heavy map. Let's say you're a team like Vegas or even maybe Surge or some team like that that's been proven to be pretty decent at Terminal Search and Destroy so far. All you've got to do is hold strong on your defense, win an offense, you know, break the serve, as it were, and you should be on for a victory. So it might not be the greatest map, but that's probably why some of these maybe worse teams, as Scrappy seems to be implying, are very keen for Terminal to stay, and a map that he feels like takes more skill, such as Skid Row, is going to be gone. So definitely some drama on both sides of this, and we can see, however, well, not really however, but it's expected, that if we look at the team stats in terms of search and destroy win-loss, you guys can just about see on the left-hand side what maps here are being played. This is Toronto so far this year, and we can see as follows. They've not played a single Terminal search. That is the one that they veto all the time. They play a lot of Karachi search, and they are 4-0 on their Skid Row search, but they don't play any Terminal. So it's understandable why Toronto aren't happy about this, and they would vote for Terminal to be gone and Skid Row to stay, and maybe part of the reason why teams have voted for Skid Row gone is because they know Toronto are very good at it and they would like it to go. And therefore it's potentially one way to try and nerf these guys, maybe. It's also kind of incredible that in Hardpoint, the only map that they've lost was Terminal to Boston. Every other Hardpoint map they've won, and they've not lost at all. They've never lost an Invasion, never lost to Karachi, never lost a Skid Row, never lost a sub-base Hardpoint Toronto, which is pretty absurd. But yeah, so Terminal is not their favourite map. Scrappy would like it gone from every mode. Obviously it's not played in Control. But the other teams disagreed for whatever reason. This, I believe, is the Atlanta FaZe, as you guys can see just about here. They also don't play Terminal Search and Destroy. They play Skid Row as well. They're 2-1 on that, 6-1, for example, on Invasion. So Karachi Search, I think, is good. High-Rise Search, it's not my favourite person, but I think it's probably good enough to stay. Invasion Search is, again, it's a solid map. It's actually pretty good, to be fair. So I can understand why the voting was between Skid Row and Terminal, but the team that this might help, at least of the top teams, is possibly OpTic Texas, because if we look at their numbers here, these are their Search and Destroy numbers this season. 0-2 on High Rise, 2-4 on Invasion, 2-1 on Karachi, 1-3 on Terminal, but Skid Row they don't even play. And they're probably better on Terminal than his record kind of implies. You know, they lost that round 11 to New York and stuff like that right at the start of the season. But Skid Row has been the map for search that OpTic just don't play. They veto it every single series. They just don't like it. For whatever reason, we don't know. But they don't like that map. It's now gone from the Mapset rotation, and Rio's coming in. So any of the top three teams that benefit from the most from this, it's got to be OpTic, right? Because those other two teams, FaZe and Ultra, they like to play it, and, well, OpTic most clearly do not. So we'll see if that has any impact on the competitive standings by the time things come out. Rio in for a couple of game modes might not change anything too dramatically, but if Vista comes in, or if Departures come in as well, and the pros move quickly, as they may or may not do, then we could have a different story here going forward. So I'll share those couple of clips just to close out the video, and this was definitely an interesting tweet here as well. Very much interested in your thoughts on all this stuff in the comment section below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.
Remember, he says, which pro would you compare your playstyle to? Which pro? Probably Scumpy, because I play OBJ, and he, like, kind of plays OBJ, I guess. But, like, he slays in hills, so do I, so, yeah, that's that.
There's no way that's right. There's no way.
Nah, no. Oh, well, yeah, no, I had to. I had to search it.
You had to search it?
Yeah, I just typed in his name, and then I put, like latest, and then
That's crazy, bro. That's crazy.
I don't know why Tom's acting like he's never seen. Get room, Ryan.
Bro, I thought I had a trophy. Am I fucking smoking that good fucking dick?